I'm Amalie Brandenburg.
And I'm Dave Abrams. Welcome to Anne Arundel County Week in Review. In this episode, we'll preview this weekend's Massing of the Colors event at Fort Meade, and we'll talk with Councilman Pete Smith. But first, making headlines this week. We have great news for Annapolis area elementary schools. County Executive Steve Schuh announced this week that he has sent a request to the County Council to add $11 million to speed up design work for Edgewater, Tyler Heights, and Richard Henry Lee elementary schools. Schuh said the projects were accelerated after he heard from parents, teachers, and local elected officials.
Based on all that feedback, sat down with the budget office and with Council Chairman Derek Fink at the end of last week and asked them if we could find a fiscally responsible way to accelerate construction of the 3 elementary schools out here in the Annapolis Neck. I'm pleased to announce that based on their good work, we are going to be submitting a supplemental budget within the next few days that will accelerate the development process for Tyler Heights, Richard Henry Lee, and Edgewater elementary schools. The supplemental budget will pull forward $10 million of design money, $3.3 million for Edgewater, $3.5 for Tyler Heights, and $3 million for Richard Henry Lee. The supplemental will put us in a position to accelerate construction of these 3 schools, depending upon the emerging outlook for the general fund, the availability of state funds, and the ebb and flow of the capital budget. Projects routinely go in, they go out, they cost more, they cost less than we expect. Things are always changing with the capital budget. I'm hopeful that a year from today we'll be announcing an acceleration of the actual construction of those schools as well.
The increases amount to roughly $3 million for each school. This is in addition to funding provided in the budget to build Crofton High School. The council is still deliberating on the budget and is tentatively scheduled for a final vote on June 15th. You can check out aacounty.org for all the details about the budget, and your next chance to testify is June 6th at 7 p.m. in Annapolis. Pretty good stuff, Amalie.
Sure is.
I mean, schools are your main issue. Welcome. Thank you for being on the show today, filling in for Kristen. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So tell us a little bit about what it is that you do in the County Executive's Office. You're the education officer, correct?
Besides bringing you your coffee in the morning?
Sometimes.
So it's the first time in county history that this position has been created, and I'm responsible for maintaining the relationship between the Board of Education, our community college, and our public library system.
So the extra money for these elementary schools, you were working behind the scenes to help make that happen, right?
Trying our best,
right.
Certainly.
Well, you do a good job with it. And by the way, folks, a little known fact, Amalie Brandenburg also loves bedazzling.
Yes,
right?
Yes, I do.
You're very talented with the bedazzling.
I am talented. I have the hot glue gun burns on my fingers to prove it.
And now, so everyone wants to know, your name is Amalie.
Yes.
It's spelled A-M-A-L-I-E. Can you explain that for us? So, is it Amalie? Is it Amalie? What's your name?
It's Amalie.
Okay. How does that work?
So my parents are military. I grew up in a very structured house. They are German and military. It sort of sets a stage for you. But when they first got married, they read Passions of the Mind by Sigmund Freud.
Wow.
Right? And it's his mother's name. And so in the little corner of the book, his mother's name is Amalie. And they said, if we ever have a little girl, that's what we'd like to name her.
The Germans pronounce it Amalie too?
No, Amalia.
There it is. That's why everyone says Amalie.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So that's how I got my name.
Who knew?
Yeah, there it is. Every week, there is a new development in the effort to stop heroin addiction. And this week, there is major news about expanding treatment options. Gaudenzia Incorporated is set to open a new facility in June. Located in Crownsville, this new treatment facility will for the first time allow for people to walk in for immediate treatment. You could tell people were excited because the ribbon-cutting event was packed. Michael Harley, CEO of Gaudenzia, said prescription drugs kill more people than guns, knives, car crashes, and heroin.
So we got the heroin and we got the bottle of pills over here. So what do you think kills the more people, the heroin or the bottle of pills? Actually, it's the bottle of pills, and let me tell you why. Because most of the people who died of heroin overdoses, this little thing over here, started with these. And we spent in this country, this is why I'm embarrassed. This is as a citizen, not as a person in recovery or as a family member, but just as a citizen, Somehow we allowed a company to sell 111 tons of Oxycontin in our country. 111 tons, and they made $32 billion off of that, more than any heroin dealer ever made in their whole history. $32 billion. And they killed our children, and we let them do it. Somehow we let them do it, and I think we're going to stop them. I'm sure we're going to stop them.
Our video crew was on hand for the event, and we will have a longer program for you to watch later this month in time for the opening. You were there, right, Dave?
I was there, and it was a very nice event. I recognized several people in the room, but when you go to a ribbon cutting and there's that many people there, it gives you an indication of how important it is to the community. And the folks that are running the facility, it's out at the Crownsville Hospital Center campus. The building was completely renovated. They have a professional, what do you call it, a restaurant grade kitchen. And the facility looks really nice. Catherine Ravendro is Bonacontri.
Yes.
Catherine Bonacontri, who was formerly with our mobile crisis response system, is heading up the Paschal Youth Services side of it. So basically they have, when people from the public are coming in the front door, the police are dropping off people at the back door to get the same sort of treatment, and there's no facility like that currently.
It's so smart, so smart.
So hopefully, it'll make a big difference and it'll really help the community, and people won't feel like they really don't have any options, because a lot of people say that now. They feel like they can't get the treatment they need.
Right.
Or, my son needs treatment, I need to get him in now, and they say, well, we can get you in 3 days, and they don't have 3 days. They need it now. So that's what this facility is going to provide. So we'll see.
Wonderful.
Well, last week we had a ton of events to tell you about, and one of them had two things close to our hearts: fuzzy friends and choppers. Animal Control held its Cruisin' for Critters event, and as always, the pets stole the show. They were also super lucky that the weather cooperated for a few hours. Don't forget that Animal Control has reduced rates and lots of great pets looking for forever homes. Director Robin Catlett said there are lots of dogs, cats, and animals to choose from.
We had a great day just trying to bring attention to the animal shelter and meet new potential adopters for homeless pets in our county.
So does Mabel need a friend, Amalie? What do you think?
Did you see the baby heron that was hatched earlier this week at Vernon Park High School?
It's funny you asked that, because you made me watch that baby heron about 50 times.
It's pretty amazing.
It was amazing.
And I've decided that Mabel might like a baby heron as a pet. Because,
you think?
Well, probably not, but...
Well, let's tell people about Mabel. Mabel is she a Chesapeake Bay Retriever?
She's a big chocolate lab.
Chocolate lab, and she's a big girl. I think she might have a thyroid issue of some sort.
She might. I've been working diligently with her, trying to teach her what happens when you throw the ball over the house, and we still haven't figured it out.
And she looks the other way.
No, she just looks at the roof of the house and keeps waiting for it to come down.
So does she? Maybe have you ever thought maybe we need a puppy or we need a kitten or something? What do the kids think? The kids?
They would love another little puppy.
Yeah.
But Mama's tapped out.
Oh, Mama said no.
Yes.
All right, well, that's fair. Keep it in mind.
How about Yoshi? Does Yoshi need a pet?
Yoshi does need a friend. You do have a point there, but I'm taking care of one dog right now, so I think that would be a little bit much. Now, I can't compete with the four gorgeous little blonde children that you have.
Thank you.
By the way, for that nice weather, we were watching lacrosse.
I know. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate
Green
it.
Hornets took home the victory.
They did. It was a nice win over Old Mill.
Over at Kinder Park. Very nice.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming, Dave. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. We didn't have the crews out there, but next time we will.
We play again this weekend.
Oh, good.
Can I expect to see you?
Nope.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay.
I'll be in Virginia Beach.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we will talk to Councilman Pete Smith. Take a look at our community calendar for events happening around town, and we'll be right back.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Well, welcome back to the show. We are very, very honored and pleased to have a special guest today, Councilman Pete Smith from the Anne Arundel County Council. Thanks for being on the show with us today.
Thank you for the
Pete.
invitation.
Tell us a little bit about how long you've been on the County Council and tell us about your district.
So I've been on the council, this is my 4th year, or cumulative. I was elected 2 years ago, about almost 2 years ago, but I served about 18 months previous to that,
right.
In a different capacity. And so over that time, I feel like I've learned a lot about being a council person. You know, part of my ability, at least from passing a budget, is being able to shine a spotlight on different issues. And so those are probably two of the biggest things that I've learned over the last 3 years. And
tell us about your district.
So this district is very unique, unlike some of the other districts. They're very similar when it comes to the dynamics of the individuals and housing communities that are in those districts. Whereas in this district, it sort of swings the gamut, right? You have very wealthy individuals that live in this area, in Hanover, and then you have sort of the lower end when it comes to income, Brooklyn Park, Meade Village, things like that. So it's a very wide, financially diverse district, as well as culturally. And so I'm proud to represent that sort of part of Anne Arundel County. But we have Severn, Hanover, Jessup, Linthicum, Brooklyn Park, northern part of Glen Burnie. And I think it's the nucleus of the state, because within District 1, you have Northrop Grumman, you have Maryland Live, you have Arundel Mills, you have parts of Fort Meade. You tell me another, you have the airport, BWI. Tell me another jurisdiction that has that much economic activity occurring in one councilmatic district. It is literally the hub financially of the state of Maryland.
True.
You mentioned that you like to highlight issues,
yes.
And one of them is homelessness. Can you speak to us about that?
You know, it's an issue that was sort of important to me, partially because my brother was homeless for a few weeks here recently. And we had a conversation about helping him get a bus ticket to get to here or get to Illinois or get to Las Vegas. He's in Arizona. And so that sort of hit the mark. I was curious about how do we as Anne Arundel County take care of the citizens who are homeless in this area. We spend so much money every year building things, trying to make the lives of those who live here better. So what are we doing for those who don't sort of make use of those buildings? What about the homeless folks who don't have access to it, who aren't necessarily worried about the tax cuts because it really doesn't affect them? Because when you're in office, I feel like you have a responsibility. Whether you're rich or poor, you represent everybody. The county executive, I think, certainly has the effect of making the lives better for everyone that lives in the county, which includes the poor. And so that's why I was concerned about how do we affect the homeless folks. And so I decided to sleep outside for one night.
You went undercover. You didn't just sleep outside.
I did.
You dressed the part and everything,
I did.
Right?
I did not look like I was well-to-do, and I intentionally went that way because I didn't want anyone. Not that I'm famous. I don't think that I'm some significant person because I'm on the council. I'm just like any other citizen who lives in the community. But it was just about 17 hours, and I met some amazing people who I thought had a significant struggle in life, some very bad luck for one of them. And I think that there's more that we can do to assist them.
Did you have any big takeaways from your experience?
I did. Besides, you know, as I was walking around Glen Burnie, because after the restaurants closed at 10 o'clock, the inside, you literally I was then left on the streets. There was nowhere else to go. So I started walking so I could stay warm, because this was around April 9th, and it was very cold. It was raining that day, and my intent was just to stay dry and stay warm. And so when the restaurants closed, I just started walking around the communities, one, to look for a place of shelter, two, not get arrested, because I felt like what I was doing in some extent was probably trespassing. In fact, it's interesting because the same building that we're in right now, just a few feet away in the garage is where I slept. Slept on the concrete floor of the garage steps as you enter this building. And so here it is. There was another individual who was homeless in the same building. And that's why I decided to stop here, because as I walked past, I saw someone sort of sitting in here. And if it was good enough for him, it was good enough for me. But, you know, the takeaway was that when it comes to sidewalks, I learned how disconjointed they are because I kept having to go in the street, and I was always concerned that I was going to get hit by a car. The other takeaway was that when it comes to the summer months, when winter relief ends at a certain point, and there really is no available resources for individuals that are homeless, certainly in this area, unless you live in Baltimore City or maybe even Annapolis, you may have some access to some communities or some resource to address the homeless issue. But in Glen Burnie, specifically this area, there really was nothing. Wow. And I kind of learned that the hard way.
Interesting. Wow. Well, let's go from poverty to a $1.3 billion budget. Right now, the council is deliberating. You have about 3 weeks left. Where are you at, and what are some of the issues that have come to your attention that you think we need to focus on with the budget? Well,
for the most part, I'll say that it's not a bad budget, because this is probably one of the budgets where I've seen the least amount of items being targeted in our council conversations. It really boils down, for the most part, on the capital side of the house. There are some minor things on the operating side that I think may need some tweaking. But when you look at a $1.4 billion budget, I mean, we're literally talking about the edges that may be tweaked. That's significant because we expanded the debt affordability, the bonds, so that allow us to build more, so which in effect allows us to take care of more issues within the county. And so the councilman, I think, as over the next few weeks, as we continue to deliberate and look at what we believe, because the budget is really, even though it's the county executive budget, it's 8 people collectively who ultimately decide what that final budget looks like. And so when you have 8 people trying to cook something, right? Sometimes the intended...
Sometimes the little soup gets spilled.
Exactly, a little soup gets spilled. That's a good analogy. And the ingredients might get tweaked depending on what the initial menu was. Some of the ingredients might get tweaked to accommodate the taste of all 8 people that are involved in this meal. And so I think that's no different with this budget. And so I'm just excited that we have $1.4 billion that we could allocate to do things for this community and do things for Anne Arundel County, because it's a wealthy county, it's a well-to-do county, and I think we, for the last 40 plus years, all my predecessors, the county executives, they've done what they needed to do to make sure we're still in a good position, and I still believe we're in a good position from a financial standpoint. But really, I think the arguments and the tweaking will probably just occur on the capital side. So.
I'm going to switch gears on you again.
Sure.
Thanks. Can you tell us a little bit about being a Marine?
You know what? It's
Memorial Day coming up.
It is, and I enjoy. I've been in almost 19 years now, and it seems like it was yesterday that I first enlisted, and then got commissioned, and I'm just excited to serve. But it's interesting being a service member and being a politician.
Yeah.
Very different worlds. As a service member, you literally can have different opinions, but once a decision is made, everyone collectively sort of binds together to make sure that decision it becomes the best decision possible. The implementation of it is done as best as possible. But on the political side, that just isn't the case. It doesn't, because everyone has their human nature takes over, and you have 8 people deciding on something, and when a decision is made, doesn't necessarily mean that all 8 people are still going to try to make sure that that direction is still done in the best way possible. And so, I've struggled with that variation and trying to be a balanced individual, bringing these sort of service member ethics. And I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Trust me, I have flaws just like anybody else. But I think at the end of the day...
But you can bench press more.
That's true. That's probably that's true. That's at least one flaw I don't have, right? And so for me, it's just about trying to be a good team player on the service side of the house as a Marine. But I try to bring that on the political side. Yeah. Just be a good team player. If there are things that I'm concerned about, I'll certainly bring them up. But that doesn't mean that we have to sort of sabotage any and all things that are put in place, no matter who the county executive is. It's on our job to sort of sabotage the industry because it's not what we necessarily want. This is the democratic process. We're a republic, and this is what we have. And I just want to make sure the decisions that we make as a county are the best decision for the majority of the folks that live in this community, in this county. And so I love being a Marine because I feel like it brings that aspect, at least I'm bringing that aspect to this process.
Well, you're a great teammate to have in Anne Arundel County for everybody concerned, and thank you for your service in our armed forces and also for your service to the community as an elected official. We appreciate you coming on the show.
No, thank you.
And we hope to have you again soon.
No, and thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
your service.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in just a minute.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America and your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Welcome back. If you want to get your patriotism started a little early, Fort Meade has a great event coming up this Sunday called the Massing of the Colors. Pat Daly has more. Pat?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with two fine gentlemen, John Hollywood to my right, Bert Rice to my left, to discuss Fort Meade's Massing of the Colors event. Bert, can you tell us a little bit what exactly is the Massing of the Colors?
Yes, the Massing of the Colors is the bringing together of color guards of not only active component units, but Reserve, National Guard, civic organizations, veterans groups, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and we bring them together in as a remembrance, if you will, and the purpose of the flag of the United States of America. So we sort of pay homage to that symbol in a very appropriate way. It's a very dignified, colorful ceremony, and so it represents a lot of things, but mainly the fact that flag represents the United States of America, and we bring that together in a very nice massing program, and we bring them in individually. Each color guard comes in individually. They are announced. In fact, John Hollywood will be our announcer for the day, and we expect anywhere from 800 to 1,000 people to attend the ceremony.
That's incredible. Sounds like an incredible event. John, tell us, if we've never been to Fort Meade before, what entrance should we go to if we attend the event, and what day and time is the event exactly?
Well, the event's going to take place on Sunday, the 22nd of May. It's going to start at 2:30 in the afternoon, but in order to get a good seat, I would recommend you get there not later than about 2. The best gate to go into, as a matter of fact, the only gate that will be open for folks attending the Massing of the Colors specifically, is the Llewellyn Gate off of Route 175. You just pull right in there. There will be place to park right there, and then you have easy access into the pavilion, which is a large Quonset hut-looking building on Fort Meade. And it will be an exciting and really fun event. I will say that for the 30th Massing of the Colors, we're going to have Admiral Rogers, who's the commander of NSA and the Cyber Command, will be our guest speaker. And then I think as important, although I wouldn't necessarily say that as a former military guy, we're going to have the Army Field Band and also the chorus, which is going to be providing entertainment after we have the Massing of the Colors. And that's why, from a patriotic point of view, it's really a super place to go on Sunday the 22nd, starting at 2:30.
And in addition, we will have the Armed Forces Color Guard out of the Military District of Washington, and they are excellent. They really present the colors as they are presented, to be presented in a professional manner. So we're pleased to have them join us as well.
Do you have any other events that are related to Memorial Day, Bert?
There are 2 other events related to Memorial Day. One is one at Camden Yards, where Fort Meade will be invited to the Orioles game on the 31st of May, and that game starts at 1 o'clock. So that's one of the events, and it's one where the commander will get to throw out the first pitch, and that's always fun to watch. You wonder whether or not they'll get it all the way up to the plate, and we challenge him on that, but he's always done a very good job there. The second will be on the 21st of May, Saturday, this coming Saturday, starting at 10 o'clock, and that's one that's performed with NSA Memorial Day Armed Services Day, and they have a number of activities programmed for that. Just a listing of the few is the Army Field Band ambassadors. There'll be a ham radio set up there for folks. Witness a NSA police demonstration, K-9 units, those kind of events that are attractive to families and service members as well as the civilian employees. So it's going to be a very nice event.
Great. Well, especially that Orioles event, they're hot, so that should be pretty good. And it sounds like an action-packed Memorial Day weekend here at Fort Meade. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Pat. Any Memorial Day plans, Dave?
Not sure yet. I will be in Virginia Beach this weekend. I'm very excited about that. See some of my old friends. It's really weird that a lot of my friends from Annapolis scattered all around the country, and then a bunch of them went down to Myrtle Beach, to Virginia Beach. So there's like 6 or 7 of them down there. So that should be a very nice weekend. And then I don't know, I've been thinking about making a little road trip to Chesapeake City.
Oh, that would be
which
fun.
I shouldn't say on camera because it's kind of a secret, undiscovered place.
Right.
But it's close by, and I think I'll do that. What about you? You got like a big cookout or something?
You know, we'll do neighborhood cookouts. The pool's getting ready to open.
Oh, tell us about that. That's a big deal in your neighborhood.
You've been to our pool
I know.
before. You're more than welcome to come, although it is going to be chilly.
Are going to be people talking about school construction and all the intricate details of the budget when it comes to education?
I'm sure, but I will be avoiding that.
Oh, okay.
be avoiding all those conversations.
So the pool opens.
Yes.
That's on Memorial Day.
No, it's Saturday.
Oh, it's Saturday.
Yeah, it opens Saturday morning.
Okay.
And I'm thinking I might make a road trip to Philly, depending on what Maryland lacrosse does.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, so you're going to go cheer on the Terps in
I hope
Philly?
so, yeah, NCAA tournament.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm so excited for all the Maryland teams up in Rhode Island this weekend.
Yeah, you're a big lacrosse person.
I am.
We don't normally get into lacrosse on this program because Kristen and I are baseball, football, basketball people.
I'm very
and
disappointed.
she's really just baseball, a little bit of football.
I'm beyond excited to see what Severna Park High School boys do this year.
Okay.
You should go watch them with me.
All right. Go Green Hornets? No.
Well, yes,
What's the Severna Park one?
Green Hornets.
They're Green Hornets.
But we play Swarm.
Got it.
Right.
Got it. Hopefully you guys all know what she's talking about. I have no idea. That wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode and archived episodes online anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or Google Plus by simply searching for Arundel TV. Please tune in again next week for more highlights and news from around the county, and we'll see you next time.
Can we get strawberries? Okay.